Do you find that when you're good at something, you're also good at other related things? Like after you play Minecraft, odds are you're a pretty good architect. So that is our theory today. I'm a practicing parkour athlete, emphasis on the practicing. Will that make me any better at these parkour-based games in the metaverse? I'm sure some of you are wondering what parkour is. Some think of it as extreme, awesome, death-defying stunts, and the other 97% think of Michael Scott's stunt reel.
Okay, we all go together or we go one at a time.
Let's just go with it somewhere in between.
Parkour!
This game is called Stride, which is considered to be one of the top Oculus parkour games, and also happens to be the only parkour game.
Oh, I'm dizzy already.
The idea is quite simple really. Start training in Stride, become a virtual parkour master, head over to an online competitive game, and reach #1 player in the world. How hard could it be with under an hour of VR experience?
This actually feels like jumping and running.
Everything was going great. I learned how to jump, run on walls, slow time down, slide zip lines with my bare hands, and shoot people. All the fundamentals we learned growing up as kids, but with more lizard-like parents. I started to feel like this was going to be a piece of cake. I could almost see the words Parkour Master appearing above my virtual head. I learned quickly after that was definitely just motion sickness, but that all came to an abrupt end.
Tutorial. That was just the tutorial, and I'm already sweating.
I decided to give Endless Mode my first real attempt. I have no clue how the scoring works in this game at all, but I knew that I had to win. No one would take me seriously if I failed parkour in a virtual game. If that happened, my wife would be sure to leave me, and the mailman would stop waving to me. But I honestly don't know which of those would leave me worse off. This actually wasn't too far off of real parkour, but like a very satisfying mastery of the sport. I felt like a bit of a badass, using familiar movements, traversing from one area to another so effortlessly. In parkour terms, we would call this a line. I did manage to die 2 times already though. Let's just go ahead and assume that's below average.
I'm not good at this. I'm running on walls.
And that's when I saw it. The leaderboard, 145,014th place. I didn't think there could be 100,000 players in this. It's a relatively new game, yet I landed with sextuple digits. And yes, I had to look up how to pronounce that word.
Sextuple.
I'm switching game modes.
Oh, great.
Well, that turned out to be my next mistake. In the last game mode, I couldn't directly tell I was doing so poorly, but I was constantly reminded by the failed quest pop-up. I mean, we're talking 2004 Spider-Man type of jumps here. I even died trying to climb up a ladder. At least I can tell there's a time limit and gold stars for this mode. It's safe to say it didn't get any easier. I even started to consider maybe I was just bad at the game. Once I saw the finish line and saw my time, and of course died another time, I knew something was very wrong. It took me 1 minute and 44 seconds to beat an easy level that should have taken less than 25 seconds.
Wow.
5 minutes later, I got my first 1 star. That almost sounds not bad, but this is the easiest course that should take under 25 seconds. Another 10 minutes later, I had finally done it. I jumped, ran, dove, and slid my way right to the holographic finish line in under 22 seconds. What seemed like now distant sweet memories of the mailman would become my reality if I kept this up. I started to think at this point something was up, and that's when the problem became clear to me. It was like being invited to a party, but you were locked in a freezer.
I wasn't wearing parkour clothing, and I might have been clicking the wrong button for climbing this whole time. Probably the close though.
I probably should have paid more attention in the tutorial.
How the...
This is when everything changed for me. I began hitting 3 stars every time, but that didn't stop me from hitting walls. You would probably have to put me outside to keep me from hitting inanimate objects.
That's a lot of damage!
I progressed past the easy levels, and the harder the levels got, the more efficient I was beating them. I quickly went down the list of levels and reached hell. By that, I mean everything looked like a volcano at this point. It even sounded like a volcano, and it wasn't the motion sickness this time. It was pure hallucination. Just kidding, I think. But anyway, it was time for the final level this time. I had already felt like I burnt more calories in this session than I had the entire week. I had also moved on from hitting walls to now beating ceiling fans. I can really feel the progression going on here. Literally. Ow! My body hurts.
Oh!
Each time I passed one obstacle, anxiety filled the room in anticipation for the next one, taking me back to Flappy Bird levels of anxiety. I knew if I accidentally made another attack on the ceiling fan, this run was over.
Ceiling fans here in my
My
way.
stress level has risen to a point where I'm ready for VR therapy, but I persevered and successfully managed.
3 stars. Every level, baby. 943rd place.
I also wasn't too far down on some of the leaderboards, but the whole point of this was to train myself, much like Neo, to be ready for real hand-to-hand combat, or in this case, the next game, Population 1. Skipping past the tutorial here basically looks like this is another battle royale game, but with climbing and gliding. This first round ended up being mostly surveying, gathering resources, and exploring. I died pretty much at the first sight of someone else, but this is just the warm-up round. After that, I needed a break. I was only doing this for a bit, but I can actually see the use case for VR stretching. Other than having a brick strapped to your forehead, seems fairly practical. My second attempt is where things get a little spicy, and I don't do well with spice. This is a video from 2016, attempt at eating a ghost pepper. To this day, I can't even look at peppers without crying, so whatever happens next may get emotional. I think part of the problem in the last game was that I never got to know my teammates. Not intimately anyway, but I had to change if I wanted to succeed. This is when I first met my 3 comrades, Ramboy, Rocketman, and the one and only Nabi1916. I have a special feeling about him. Right away I could tell they knew things that I didn't. Instead of immediately hopping into what I can now see is quite literally rocket-loaded caskets, they flew straight off the cliff. So I followed suit, which led me straight into 2 of my favorite things, a sniper rifle and a protein shake. This was one of the unexpected and emotional parts that I was worried about. First off, one of my teammates died, and I didn't even notice. Secondly, I had no clue who this guy was. Apparently 19Mirko92 was our 5th team member, and I just found out. I kept on my journey, following the team's lead, but still giving everyone space for glory. Found this neat tower, and I had to duck to get into it, which I find kind of cool for some reason. Ramboy knocked down someone, so that's good, I think. Almost immediately after seeing Ramboy in action, I spot someone right behind me. I have 2 thoughts in this moment. At least if I die, I have my A-team to revive me, and the more important thought, if I land just 1 shot on this guy, that should be all I need to make it out alive. I aim the scope in to line up the shot, and I miss. I forgot you have to cock this gun. Just like that, I had won my first fight. I found some more supplies, tried to drink a couple sodas, which I haven't drank in around 6 years. That was obvious though because I didn't know how to open the cans. I continue following my team while gathering more stuff, probably missing out on some action. It's not much, but it's honest work. I stumbled upon a 3-star sniper in some farmland, which is a nice improvement. Loaded this bad boy up, giving me a brief flashback to Modern Warfare 2 with the Barrett 50 cal. If anyone has done VR trickshotting before, please send me your clips. That would be so funny. Now is where I realized things were heating up. It was 5v5, Ramboy was going ham, which was expected for him. I finally get back into action trying to help, scoping out the area, looking for anyone flanking my team.
Teammate down.
I can't believe I just witnessed that live video of Rocketman being knocked out. This is the equivalent to me losing one of my lungs, which I imagine is very uncomfortable. But I don't really know, I'm not a doctor, so there's no way to know for sure. Ramboy avenged Rocketman and revived 2 teammates. He makes a close second MVP. I'm trying to hone in on the last of the enemies here, but they all seem to have slithered off, almost as if they come out when I'm looking away. Immediately as I turn around, Rocketman takes out 2 enemies, only 2 left. Make that 1. Then of course, they take out Nabi. That one hurt worse than Rocketman's death, if I'm being honest. I was going to act like I reached #1 player in the world with dramatic jumps from myself and fancy graphics, then end the video abruptly, but I decided that would be too